from a dumpy little office in West Covina, California, it's the Foos Bar Show! Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Joe C. I'm Josh. And we got David on the mix. Say hello, David. Hello, David. Oh, shit. Thank you all very much for listening into the Foos Bar Show. Thank you for subscribing and telling a friend like a champ. You can always catch us at Foos Bar Show. That's FOOBarshow@gmail.com. And FOO Bar Show is our handle on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Ain't that right, foos? Foos. Hey-o. On tap today, we have some shit talking. We're going to talk some news, some sports. We got a Don't Be a Dick today to talk about. Ooh. We got a joint report, some music highlights. But most importantly, first of all, we have Aaron Zuniga of Top Shelf Shake.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in, man.
See, I can't clap. I want to clap.
I got you.
There you go. To the mic.
We'll give him the old golf clap here. Here we go.
Nice.
I paused there.
There you go. That's class.
What happened?
I don't know.
Awesome. All right, so Aaron, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.
Yeah, dude. I've been checking you guys out for some time. Top Shelf Shake. I wanted to ask you a few questions. How, where, and how did the band start?
Basically, just me and the bass player Zach. We started just jamming in my garage with no drummer for like probably a full 3 years.
Oh shit!
Just jamming on covers and stuff, and then we finally got a drummer, and then finally started writing some originals. You know, as the story goes. But, yeah, it just kind of started without even meaning to. We didn't think it was going to be what it became.
What did you guys play a lot? Like
a bunch of Zeppelin and, super deep cuts, like 10 Years Gone.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like, super deep cuts
shit.
that, like, if you played live, people wouldn't even know what you're playing.
Did you learn, like, Achilles' Last Stand?
Oh, yeah. Hell yes.
Dude,
that was the first song I learned.
That's impressive as all hell. That's a long-ass song.
So, yeah, we never really thought it'd be, like, a band or anything, like a live thing. But once we got a drummer and it sounded that sweet, like, we knew we had to. So yeah, and then of course the originals came along, and the rest is history, as they say.
Nice, man.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
What inspired you early on? Because I understand you play drums too. You're not only the front man for Top Shelf.
Yeah.
You also are an experienced drummer. Tell me about that. Like, which one came first, the guitars or the drums?
Drums definitely came first. I've been playing drums for probably 13 years now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So I got pretty good at that, and then I played in a few bands growing up, and I felt like it was kind of like music college, like being in a kind of a pretty crappy metal band for 4 years. You know, like we were good, but we were just so flawed. You know, and you learn the many mistakes not to make and stuff, and you learn what to do, what not to do.
Oh, totally.
And so in a way, that was kind of like my music college.
Sick.
But so I kind of just lost the spark for drums. Something about it, I don't know what it was, but guitar started to speak more to me. It just like meant more to me, and so I started doing that and writing my own songs. And
do you find yourself, when you compare yourself to other guitarists, do you find yourself strumming in a specific way because you have that drumming pattern about you?
Yeah, actually, I do.
That's kind of what.
Mention it.
Yeah, that's what Dave Grohl does.
Yeah, I play a real sort of rhythmic, in a real rhythmic fashion and stuff. And then the way that I can, I got really, really good pick control because I'm almost playing. I can almost hear it like a stick control.
You can easily follow the beat.
Yeah.
The bass drum's
and
likely
I
the
can
low
make
notes.
beats with the picking control. You know,
that's dope.
So it kind of adds to the song in a few instances. It's
and
cool.
I think, in my opinion, it helps with some of the dynamics depending on how the song is going to flow a little bit. Yeah. I like to think that I was a drummer that never learned how to play the drums. Because I have good rhythmic sense, so I know, and so I kind of treat my pick in that way, where the low notes are your bass drum, and you got your toms in the middle, and then your snare and crashes are up on top. So that's kind of how I pick too. Yeah. So I totally get it, and that's why I'm asking.
Right? That's
and
really cool.
I'd like to ask that question to all drummers who also happen to play guitar, because I often find that they kind of would sympathize with that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's weird you should ask, because nobody's really ever asked that before. and it would come from a fellow drummer and guitar player.
Right. Yeah, dude. So I've been enjoying your music for some time.
Awesome. Thank
I realize that you guys have a lot of influences without even asking you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's like if you took Pennywise and Sublime and then they fucked.
Oh,
And then they had a baby.
wow.
And then Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, and they came through.
And the Beatles had a fucked and they had a baby, and then those two babies met and fucked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you guys popped out.
Yeah. We'd be the product of baby making.
But Top Shelf Shake, I was telling, we had Nuncio on in the last pod, and I was explaining to him that I was extremely jealous of the name Top Shelf Shake prior to starting the show.
Genius.
You were telling me that that's something that Zach came up with. Your
the
bassist.
bass player, like I told you, I wish I thought of it too, man. Like, but the bass player is actually the one that thought of it, and the story goes he was just looking at a menu for a local clinic and stuff, and noticed like, oh, $5 for Top Shelf Shake. Not only is that right in my
In your
wheelhouse.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, right in my wheelhouse right there. That's right what I can afford. But that also could be a good name for my band. So that's what he thought. That's what he thought there.
I'm telling you, man, if you had a camera on him, you could just see his face slowly turn to the distance and look off, like realizing
Just that
he just
eureka-
had the epiphany. Yeah,
that eureka moment.
That eureka moment, like Top Shelf Shake.
I wish I was there for that. Right there, literally was like a
You get that,
a light
that
bulb over
Inception
his
noise.
head.
That
It's like,
Inception.
That was him, and just his eyes all wide.
it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's great.
Well,
Right.
dope, man. Well, so what would you say are your major influences when you write and you like when you hear the song that you want to, when you're producing it and you're writing it, like who are you listening to when you're writing your stuff?
it really varies a lot, which is why our music is so different. Like every song is almost like different in its own way. They're kind of, none of them, no two are the same.
Yeah, you mentioned that you don't really know how to categorize yourself.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of reggae and ska, but then there's some punk, and then there's some funk, and then there's some rock, and there's a lot of different like blues feels and.
Yeah.
Well, it's everything that can really mash together.
Yeah, so it's everything
like,
we try to do.
So you have like an amalgam of
Yeah,
everything together.
exactly,
That's pretty
exactly.
dope. That's
So,
not
so yeah, it's basically I don't really have any one like influence, but what's interesting is I can go back and listen to different songs that I've written in the past, and I can like pinpoint what I was learning at that point based on what I was writing at that point.
So
Right
in
now?
hindsight, you can go back and realize, oh, okay, that's what was influencing.
Yeah,
me in
yeah,
that
and I
song.
could be like,
Nice,
oh,
nice.
this was influenced by a Chili Peppers riff or stuff like this, but that's what I happen to be learning at that point.
Nice.
Right.
So it's
right.
kind of cool.
Yeah, you learn like the different arpeggios that they
Yeah,
may be
yeah.
using at that time,
Learn
and you're
little
like,
different
how can I
tricks.
incorporate that in one of my tunes? And then you can
Exactly.
cash it in.
Yeah, yeah. You two are a songwriter, so I'm sure you
Yes, sir.
understand.
Yeah, totally. I mean, but you'll always. I would be caught dead with Pearl Jam,
Wait,
or
who-
Rage Against the Machine
You write songs?
every now and again.
Wow. News to me.
Yeah, so I mean, if anything, it's likely gonna sound like one of those two guys or bands. I mean, but what would you say are your favorite artists? Like, who were you listening to when you were growing up, and how early were you listening to music that down the line you were like, oh shit, these are the guys who are going to influence me, not only loving music but writing it.
Well, thanks to my parents, I was listening to music super, super early. Like, it basically was part of my first memories and stuff. And I'd say the Beatles are my number one influence. Like,
of course. All right.
That's just like everybody's favorite band sort of thing.
It's like a base. It's just like one of those basic bands you learn as a kid that you have to love.
It's
Yeah.
a built-in favorite. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's like do you like music? Okay, well, you like the
Yeah,
Beatles.
and you like-
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
if you have to learn
Right.
Yellow Submarine on the recorder in elementary school, I'm pretty sure you're going to grow up liking the Beatles.
For
at some
real.
point.
For real. So yeah, the Beatles were like my number one influence, and I can go back to when I was probably 2 or 3 years old, my first
wow.
memories, and that was part of it. So, but other than them, there's a lot of Blink-182.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of Motion City Soundtrack.
Mhm.
A lot of, let's see, there's some weird like metal ones like Silverstein and Senses Fail.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, and a little bit of Tool.
Okay.
Like I got into
Yeah.
Tool like back in 2011 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're kind of syncopated rhythms, like really kind of influence the way that I write songs.
One of
And,
my favorite Tool songs is The Pot.
Oh, The Pot's great.
The Pot, that bass line, dude.
Oh, see, that's great, and
Yeah,
all that
dude.
stuff, that syncopated like rhythm, the drums that go with that, and so I've kind of written parts that are reminiscent of that.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
but yeah, so I've got a lot of different weird influences. You know, even some Frank Sinatra will come through in some of my singing. You know,
You're crooning all of a sudden.
yeah. So picture Frank Sinatra mixed with Silverstein, mixed with Sum 41 and Blink-182. Like,
wow,
all
that is a strange combination.
right, exactly.
But
Yeah.
strangely, I kind
And
of
then
want
they
to
all
listen to it
fuck?
now.
It kind of and then they all and then this
One big
top
sweaty orgy
top shelf shake is the thing that comes out.
Right.
Nice, dude. That's
grew
dope.
out of the jizz pile, like
Oh, wow.
in the middle, right?
So you guys just threw a bunch of. You guys just.
Try not to picture that right now.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll bring a different
I
analogy.
didn't say it was gonna be pretty.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. So you guys just put a bunch of weed into the grinder, sativas, indicas,
See,
and
that's
then
a lot
grinded it all
prettier.
up?
I'd like to
There you
picture
go.
that.
There you go.
I guess I'm the dick.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, don't be a dick.
Yeah, that is the theme of the show. Well, shit, man. Anything coming up? I understand you have a single out currently that we'll listen to at towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
But what do you have a name for the album yet?
Yeah, we do actually. And interesting, this will be my first time announcing it like publicly.
Oh, awesome.
For
Breaking
anybody
news,
who's
Foo.
listening.
Breaking news.
Yeah, this is breaking exclusively for the Foo Bar Show. Yeah, this is a Foo Bar exclusive.
We feel so special.
But yeah, we're gonna call it Strange Radio.
Strange Radio.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
Alright.
like that.
Yeah,
That
so,
rolls off
man.
the tongue.
So
Yeah.
it's like 6 songs, just a collection, an EP of 6 songs. And like the reason we wanted to call it Strange Radio is because it kind of encompasses the idea of what we are, how all of our songs are different.
Yeah.
If it was a radio station or a show, it would be strange
Strange
because it'd be
radio,
like
yeah.
5 different genres, 6 different genres sort of thing. And so the other meaning behind it is just like, it's just like sort of like be like, it's encouraging people to be weird, like go out there and be yourself and be weird and
Nice.
don't be normal. Normal's boring.
Yeah. It is
So
boring.
like, turn that Strange Radio up, so we
Yeah.
have a song that kind of alludes to
Right,
to the
right.
same
Well,
sort of thing.
these days, I wish we had a little Strange Radio. I mean, this
Oh,
mainstream
yeah.
radio is
Right?
killing me right
It's
now,
so
dude.
predictable
So
these
much
days.
cookie
It's on
cutter,
a
man.
loop.
Yes.
Cookie cutter. I don't even listen to live radio
At
anymore.
work when they
It's
when they
bad.
just had the radio station, you're like, did I not just fucking hear this song right now?
Yeah, right. If you listen to the same radio station for like 22 minutes, you'll hear like 3 or 4 of the same songs.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean,
I've had an ass full of Cardi B. I'll tell you that.
Oh, started, dude. The Migos. Goddamn the Migos.
I
man.
can't do any of that shit.
I
I can't do it, man.
One day on our ride home, me and like my mom, my sisters, we threw on Migos just to make fun of it. Like we were just making up stupid rhymes to go with it, and it still went with it. But it's like
That
it's
I think
dumb.
that might be one of the only ways I could enjoy that music.
You have to make fun of it.
To make
you
fun of
have
it.
to
Yeah.
make fun of it. It's like, I mean, some people, some people have different tastes, but it's like that's not music. It just
Yeah.
No, and it's not because those people didn't like have any hand in writing it.
Exactly.
Like that's what really bothers me.
all mostly goes.
And what's even weirder is that one of the more predictable kinds of percussive riffs made an entire genre for reggaeton.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
The same fucking
dude! Yes, 100%. I spent
like,
about
really?
a month in Cuba in 2015,
Yeah.
and like literally every song on the radio is that. Is
no.
that beat that song is like everything is that shit.
And they you'll talk to a classically trained musician and I would agree with them when they say classic or there's a certain kind of music that would make you intelligent or smarter. I believe that there's a kind of music that would make you dumber.
Yep.
Oh, totally. And you know
yeah.
what?
And that's one
We've
of the-
discovered it. This
Yes.
generation
It is now.
among our very few distinctions, this generation has discovered the dumb music, the music that just makes you stupider.
Though our generation didn't help with bringing out Little John and the East Side Boys.
Okay, that was the previous generation.
Yeah.
That's true. You know what though? It's saying something. It's truly saying something about as stupid as we can get now. If Lil Jon and all that bullshit is not the stupidest that we can do as a race, as just a human as just like a species of human beings.
Generation Z's like
That's the bar.
let me take it
That's
from
no.
here.
We
That's
thought
the
that
bottom.
was. We used to think back
Oh,
in high
yeah.
school,
That was
Lil
the
Wayne
bottom,
was
man.
as stupid as it could get. No, we would laugh
No,
now.
sir.
And
We
then-
all just laugh in our bitterness now.
We all just, look back on the fond days when all we had to really worry about was Lil Jon and the East Side Boys
Yeah.
and listen to Salt Shaker and Get Low.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
And that was like the worst music.
yeah.
But
And-
now you got all this like